On December 22, 2023, a pitch-black Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 170, the most powerful Hemi muscle car ever built, rolled off the assembly line at the Brampton plant in Ontario, Canada, just outside Detroit's Motor City Automotive Corridor. It was the last Hemi-powered muscle car Dodge would ever build, marking the end of an era that defined American automotive culture. The car made 1,025 horsepower on E85 ethanol, ran the quarter mile in under 9 seconds from the factory, and cost over $100,000. It was the fastest, most powerful, most expensive muscle car in American history. And it was the final one. Under CEO Tim Kuniska's leadership, Dodge built it, put a commemorative plaque under the hood, and walked away from the muscle car business that had defined the brand for over 50 years. The original Dodge Challenger arrived in the fall of 1969 as a 1970 model, and it was already late to the party. Ford had launched the Mustang in 1964 and created the pony car market overnight. Chevrolet answered with the Camaro in 1967. Pontiac had the Firebird. By the time the Challenger showed up, the segment was crowded and the muscle car era was already showing cracks. But the Challenger did not care about timing. It came with a 440 cubic inch V8, making 390 horsepower in the RT model. And for buyers who wanted to terrify themselves, there was the 426 Hemi making 425 horsepower with dual 4-barrel carburetors and a reputation for being the most brutal production engine Chrysler had ever built. The Challenger was wider, lower, and meaner looking than anything in its class. Vanishing Point, the 1971 film, put a white Challenger RT on screen doing 160 miles per hour across the desert and turned the car into a cultural symbol overnight. First-year sales were strong at 76,925 units, and then the bottom fell out. Insurance companies started charging young buyers astronomical premiums for high-horsepower cars. The Clean Air Act of 1970 forced compression ratios down across the industry. The 1973 oil crisis sent gas prices through the roof. Challenger sales collapsed, dropping every year after the debut. Dodge built the last first-generation Challenger midway through the 1974 model year after selling just 165,437 total units across the entire run. The name disappeared. For the next 3 decades, Dodge slapped the Challenger badge on a rebadged Mitsubishi compact import from 1978 to 1983, and then the name went completely dark. The Charger followed a similar path. The original 1966 Charger was a fastback coupe that became one of the most recognizable cars in American culture. The 1969 Charger RT, painted orange, became the General Lee on the Dukes of Hazzard television show, and that single car did more for Dodge's brand image than any marketing campaign in the company's history. The Charger stayed in production through 1978. It went through a dismal front-wheel drive phase in the 1980s, then vanished until 2005. The modern comeback started with the Chrysler 300 in 2004. Designer Ralph Gills pushed a retro-styled rear-wheel drive sedan with a Hemi V8 through a skeptical corporate boardroom, and the car was a massive hit, with nearly 500,000 sold in its first 3 years. That platform, called the LX, gave Dodge the foundation to bring back both the Charger in 2005 and the Challenger in 2008. The Charger returned as a 4-door sedan, which upset purists who wanted a 2-door coupe, but it sold well enough to justify its existence. The Challenger returned as the 2-door that everyone wanted, with retro styling that looked like it had been pulled straight from 1970 and dropped into the modern era. It launched with a 425 horsepower Hemi 5.8 and an attitude that neither the Mustang nor the Camaro could match. And then Dodge did something that no other automaker was willing to do. They kept pushing the horsepower higher and dared anyone to stop them. In 2015, Dodge introduced the Challenger SRT Hellcat with a supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi making 707 horsepower. It was the first mass-produced American car to break 700 horsepower, and it cost under $60,000. For context, a Lamborghini Aventador made 691 horsepower that same year and cost $400,000. The Hellcat beat it for a fraction of the price. The automotive press called it reckless. Dodge called it Tuesday. 2 years later came the Demon with 840 horsepower, a car so fast that the National Hot Rod Association banned it from sanctioned drag strips without additional safety equipment installed. The Demon came from the factory with a single front passenger seat because Dodge removed the other one to save weight. Then the Red Eye at 797 horsepower, then the Super Stock at 807, then the jailbreak models that opened up every color and interior combination Dodge had. Each year, more power, more noise, more options, and a customer base that got louder and more loyal with every model. By the time production was ending, the Challenger was outselling both the Ford Mustang and the Chevrolet Camaro, despite riding on a platform that had been in production since 2008 with the same basic body for 15 years. To put this dominance in perspective, the Demon 170 with 1,025 horsepower dwarfed the Mustang's 500 horsepower and the Camaro's 650 horsepower offerings. Dodge did not need a redesign because the customers did not want one. The Challenger's retro proportions, long hood, wide stance, and V8 rumble were exactly what Mopar fans had been asking for since 1974. The Brampton assembly plant produced 853,000 Challengers and 1.8 million Chargers over the 19-year run. Combined with the Chrysler 300 and the Dodge Magnum, the plant built 4.3 million cars on that single platform. For the final year, Dodge created 7 special edition last call models to send the Challenger and Charger into retirement. The Shakedown, the Swinger, the Black Ghost, the Super Bee, the King Daytona, and the Demon 170. Each one was a tribute to a legendary Mopar model from the past. The Black Ghost was named after a real 1970 Challenger RTSE owned by Godfrey Qualls that became a Detroit street racing legend. Only 300 were built. The King Daytona honored drag racing icon William Big Willie Robinson with Go Mango paint and 807 horsepower. Every single 2023 Challenger and Charger came with a commemorative last call plaque under the hood showing the car's silhouette and the plant where it was built. Dodge treated the end like a funeral and a celebration at the same time. The union chairperson at Brampton, Artis Snow, told the Detroit News that the end of production would be emotional. She said the workers watched customers call these cars their baby. The excitement of these vehicles, she said, was now going to be gone. The Brampton plant was retooled to build the next generation Jeep Compass. A factory that spent 19 years building muscle cars now stamps out compact crossovers. Dodge has promised that a new generation of muscle cars is coming, built on the STLA large platform at the Windsor Assembly Plant across the river from Detroit. The Charger Daytona SRT concept showed what the future might look like, an electric 4-door with the simulated exhaust sound piped through external speakers. Whether that future lives up to the Hemi era is something the market will decide in 2024 and beyond. But the Hemi Challenger and Charger are gone. The last one off the line was a Demon 170 in pitch black. It was the most powerful muscle car ever built, rolling off an assembly line that will never build another one. Dodge gave the muscle car a proper send-off, and then they walked away.